Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Dr. S.P. Rai with us. A brief introduction of Dr. Rai. He has done his bachelor's in life sciences with specialization in geology from Banaras Hindu University. And for master's, he specialized in geology at same BHU, Banaras Hindu University. For PhD, he joined Kumaon University at Nainital and did his PhD in hydrogeology, post which he joined National Institute of Hydrology in Roorkee, there as a scientist B, and got promoted up until scientist F when he chose to come back to the parent university, Banaras Hindu University, where currently he is an associate professor. With this brief introduction, we'll say thank you so much, sir, for taking time out for this conversation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Raja. Good morning to you. Here is a good evening. So, I appreciate that the program you have launched. You are doing the conversation with a lot of celebrities and scientists, so who are ignored, I think, in the system. So, I
Thank you.
think that that is a very nice work what you are going to do, and I think in future you will continue. My blessings are with you, and um, uh, what I can, as you briefly introduced me, I did my graduation from Varanasi University. Then I moved to the Kumaon University, Nainital, although it is a state university. But because of my passion, I want to work in the hydrogeology. So in Banaras University at that time, the export of hydrogeology were not available. So I moved over there, and after doing my PhD, and one after another reason was moving over there, that I got the opportunity to work in the Himalaya, which we know as a tower of water in the South Asia. So I feel proud. Okay, and even my professor, who was the Professor K.S. Valdia, correction Valdia, he is the Padam Shri Padma Vibhushan. Now he is not more, but it was a very wonderful opportunity that I got the admission under his supervision in PhD.
So
And
in
then
this in these conversations, we always say that how starting from the journey of when you decided that why you want to do PhD up until then to now, that the crux is when you decided that you want to become a researcher, what were the reasons you decided? And if you can share that journey, that when was the first time you thought that you want to become a researcher?
okay, that's very difficult question, but because we belong to the lower middle class family. Basically, my parents were main job was the farming. So I came from that background. So when I did my graduation and PG in the geology, so main objective was the EPSC, to qualify EPSC or Coal India, or at that time ONGC was very charming in my discipline, oil and natural gas chemistry. So these were the initially the thought was that I will go into those sides, but when I completed my master, at that time somehow the economy was not very good in the country, and postage were declined. So most of the students, even though they moved to for the competitive exams, for the EPSC, for the administrative job. But at that time, it came in my mind. It was my internal sole decision where I should go. So I thought, okay, best is that, because if you see in the Banaras Hindu University, in the science faculty, the main focus of the teaching is to train the student from the very basics, so not from the competitive point of view. So I thought, because I have gained the knowledge from basic of the geology, understanding in that area, so I should continue in that, and I hopefully I will do better. So I then problem was that the financial source was not, because family was not in position to bear the expenses of PhD. So at that time, I got some junior research fellowship scholarship from and then I joined under supervision of the Professor K.S. Valdia, and I continue my PhD over there. And my PhD area was in the district Almora, which was encompassing around 600 square kilometer area. And it was in first time in Himalaya we gauged 6 streams. We started monitoring the stream discharge, climatic parameters of the watersheds, and want to establish the relationship between the rainfall, forest, land use, different land use, how the water is coming from different streams, why the variation is there. Why we did it? Because in Himalayas, the springs are the only source for the villagers, on the basis of which they are taking drinking water as well as the irrigation water. So there were researches at that time that spring discharge are declining, even some springs are dried up. So my supervisor asked to take this challenge and come with the strategy how we will recharge to the springs. So in that, to understand the process, how the recharge is taking place, how the subsurface flow is coming out. So to start that, I work in that area, watershed hydrology, along with the geology, neotectonics, because he was a big man, he was knowing all the techniques. So he gave me a lot of work. I did. I was very passionate, and I did very sincerely and very hard work. You will surprised to know that when I joined the PhD, I after 2 years I came back to my home. So since 24 into 7 I worked, and it was the first time in the life of my supervisor I did my PhD in 3 years.
Nice. Wonderful. That is still a tough job in current situation when infrastructure is so established and the fellowships are better. Still, students take it more than 3 years in most of the cases in India,
Yeah, yeah.
and that is true even globally.
Even you see, Himalayan terrains are very tough terrain. If you are moving from the valley to top of the roads, it means you are climbing up to 300 to 400 meters, going down 300 to 4, because I'm working with the river. So every day I'm going such a taking the climbing and going down in the valley, coming up. So my weight was reduced by 10 kg.
Absolutely. That was like a great workout. So
Uh-huh.
this is something like when you are working in field, there are different challenges. Whereas when you're working in lab, wet lab work, it is a different challenging environment. So starting with the first point that when you mention about your PhD supervisor gave you challenges that, okay, you have to come up with your own solutions, with your research project, which you want to pursue for your PhD. That is something which we see that some of the supervisors, even in current scenario, they do motivate the students to come up with their own idea, whereas some of them, they also give the projects, ready to go projects, to the PhD students. So in your experience, and now when you recall those initial days when you were a PhD student, now when you are taking PhD students, in your understanding, what is the best way the student should come up with their own research objectives, methodology, and hypothesis, or a PhD supervisor should give them all of this and then the student is there only to work? According to you, what is the best way?
If you see the Indian scenario, okay, so because the even today the students are not interested in the research job. They do not prefer, only few students, more than 10%. So they basically they are not seeing anywhere. Their objective is to research. They are focused. They are going through the literature, review of literature. They are coming with a good solution. Even suppose I am suggesting something, even though in that also they do something new. But most of the students, even today, even if you see the culture of the here university, so what happens generally? What happens? proposal, we float proposal from our side. You work in that area, you work in that area. These are the challenges based on our experiences. What are the challenges in different fields? So this what I do, and other teacher fellow also they are doing. So we suggest these are the area where you can contribute nicely, and you can come up with the good publications. Your PhD will be very good and demanding. So you should try to that area. So this is the area. I think in US it is reverse. The students are searching, the reviewing the. So it takes 1 or 2 years. Here, what happens? The time is saved. If we are floating the area, then the research PhD student is confined only in a smaller area, and he is going in all the aspects and coming up with. If suppose a student is interested and he want to do better, he go through the literature and he come up with some good objectives.
Exactly. So the second point about this is, having said that either it is India or abroad, when the financial situation of those research scholars are not well established, very well funded. So
Yes.
that is also one of the part where it comes that now in India, the fellowships for doctoral and postdoctoral research is, I can say, moderate to on a higher side. It's not by any means like less as it was in your time. But
Yes.
how does this trick the scholars who are not passionate about their research but are coming only for the fellowship? How the professors like you deal with that you have to now screen students who are joining PhD for fellowship, or students who are there, as you mentioned, less than 10% of them are passionate about research. That is what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Actually, here if you see the admission procedures, okay, when I joined here at that time, there was some liberty to professor to screen out. Okay, but if you nowadays, what is the students are coming to some tests, JRF, CSIR, JRF, UGC, JRF, GATE. So naturally, the good students are scoring higher marks in the exams for the fellowships. But they have scored very good. But when they joins, if you are going with their marks and you are giving that, because there is no another criteria with the professor how he will judge. Okay, so if you are not knowing the personally, so if you are going with that, so it is very difficult, because the day student joins, then he takes his liberty and he decides what he has to do. Okay, so that's the basically it is a chance. Student may be better, may student may not be interested. So you will see in different university and different places there are so many controversy between the guide and the student and so on. So because that happens, so that is very difficult question even today. If we what are the admission procedure in the PhD? Now there is no liberty with the professor. So who will get the admission? Because the admission is basically based on the marks. In that criteria, what happens? Students who have scored less marks in the competitive exam, but they are very serious about the research. Those type of student doing very well in the, because in research that we need hard work, sincerity, patience. So all these are required. For very fast growing students who are very talented, their patience is very weak. They want quickly, they want some results.
And that's why
Research.
we say that the PhD is this training where you train the student even for that patience, how to be more like the perseverance is also one of the key which they learn during the PhD. So coming back to your journey from PhD, when you joined the National Institute of Hydrology and spent more than a decade there, What brought you? So, how was that experience? First, let's talk about that, and then we'll go to the next question.
In National Institute of Hydrology, when joined as a scientist, so we were because I came from our institute. Scientists were coming from two major disciplines. So few scientists came coming from the engineering side, civil engineers, and few scientists are coming from the science background, chemistry, geology, physics. So because we are trained for the research, generally the scientists coming from the civil engineering background, they are the more trained in the tools, computer and other things at those times. We were weaker in that part, but because we work in the field, we are having the training of the field, geology, hydrology, the area of the field, science. Without going in the field, you cannot do any experiment. So you cannot see how the river is flowing, how the lake is behaving, how the springs is flowing, how the snow and glaciers are melting. Without going the field, you cannot do your experiments. So we were very passionate and joined and started rigorously. We worked just like a research scholar. I worked initially very hard as a scientist, and came with very good reports and project. I completed very good projects also. Outputs were very good. I would just like to quote at that time we worked on the Nainital Lake. If you visit to the Nainital Lake, so in that I was in that project as a co-PI. That time my head Dr. Krishna Kumar was the PI for that project. So we come up with the solution at that time in India. It was the first lake to which we have studied in detail with the isotopes using the environmental isotopes. So we understood all the processes, how the water is coming, how water is going outside the lakes. So what is the relation between those? What should be the criteria to store the water in the lake? So why the lake is degrading, why the sedimentation is going on? Because at that time there was controversy that Nainital Lake will dry up within 200 years. So because Nainital only lake is the source of the drinking water, and even quality was deteriorating because of the poor drainage network. So we came up. If you go, there is one oxygen mixing plant is running in the lakes. That has improved a lot to the lakes quality also. So we recommended so many things, and that time it was adopted by the government and implemented. So we work that type of work. Similarly, we work in the Dal Lake, Mansar Lake in Jammu. So initially, I worked in the lakes. Later on, shifted to the watershed hydrology. Then and I got a specialization in application of the isotopes in the hydrological study. So even Ganga, you will surprise me. First time we came to know that how much snow and glacier is joining to River Ganga. If you suppose there was question that if suppose all the snow and glaciers melt out suddenly in 20 years, 30 years, because there were some studies, what could be the impact on the River Ganga? Whether Ganga will survive or not. So at that time we came to know that snow and glacier contribution is not more than 30% in the Himalayan region. So even 70% water is coming from the groundwater and surface runoff, rain derived runoff. So this type of work we carried out in there. So earlier we were not interested in the publications because institute policy was something like that. You complete the project, and submit the report. Now your job is over. But later on, with the time, policy gets changed. So after 2010-12, we started the publication.
Nice. So spending almost 2 decades at the Institute of Hydrology and coming back to academia, in joining Banaras Hindu University. What was the thought process which was leading that, okay, now I'm done with this, I want to go back to the roots? And you were the alumni start for your bachelor's, master's. So coming back to the home university, how it felt, or what was the biggest driving force behind making that decision?
Actually, after working 22 years, I worked up to 22 years. In the 1995, I joined, and 2018, I leave. So, because there was retirement age after 60, so I was thinking that after 7 years job was left, 7. So I thought that, we have worked very rigorously 30 years in the field. We have learned so many tools and techniques, and if these knowledge are not transferred to the next generation, I may be the good scientist, but that knowledge, once the day I will get retired, this knowledge will go with me, because nobody will come to ask me, and as per the scenario, nobody will ask you if once you get retired. So I thought, okay, I should move from here. So it came in, actually, I was trying from year 2014. I got selected here in the year 2014, but somehow because of the so many politics, I could not join. The result was not declared. Again, I tried in year 2017, and I got opportunity to join here. So I came and joined, and I'm liking the infrastructure what we developed in the National Institute of Hydrology, because there was a big team. But here I'm liking those infrastructures. I'm in the process of developing here also. But when I go to the classroom, and when I came back from classrooms, really I enjoy that. I always think that what I have not told today the students, what is the missing in my lecture today, what should means what I must be convey that knowledge to the student, but I have forget that. So something like that. So always try to be better. Tomorrow lecture should be more better than the present. So it gives some pleasure.
Absolutely.
Very unique pleasure I get it. So after joining here, I got so many difficulties, because in middle age, once you are changing the departments, really there are so many difficulties, difficult tasks. But apart from all those difficulties, I enjoy my teaching, and I have around 10 PhD students along with me. So I am always trying I am motivating my students do better, because your competition is the global. It is not like that you are going to compete with the BHU students. If you are going tomorrow at any place, so you are going to face, because the world is very small technically. So you have to face globally, and if you are not going to do better and good job and good publications, good citations, so it will be difficult to survive in the research field. So because as you asked, how you are tackling those students who are not interested in initial period, and so what happens once the student joining the first year, because there are courses and they are interested in the competition also, I'm knowing that, so I'm not giving much pressure. But from second year and onwards, I start pressure. You do your competitive job, no problem, but the time gap between the exams, whatever, 3 months, 4 months, you give 24 into 7 for the research. So that time should be for the research with the honesty, because without honesty, research will be not carried out. So I always try to motivate. See, you should do your job. What the things you want, you do. I'm not going to create hurdle in that. But apart from that, because if the 3 years passes, you are not getting job, then you will be in the depression because neither you get the PhD nor you are going to get the job. So at least you make a path such way that at least you are not getting success in that area. So at least you can survive here also. So by
Absolutely.
that,
And I think this
by
is
that,
very important point what you just started about saying that mental health. This is one of the issues which is not very well acknowledged. Although now in India we started talking about mental health of research scholars, obviously, and professors like you are very motivational, as you mentioned, and instrumental in giving them opportunities so that they are not stuck with only one possibility that what they aim for. Having that
yes,
plan B always works and also helps take off that pressure which is not there if they do not have a plan B. So like you wanted to give back to society after spending 22 years at Institute of Hydrology. You came back to academia, and as you mentioned, giving this sense of accomplishment after every lecture when you move out, see that you are training the next generation of researchers or next generation of either academia, industry, or wherever they go. You are the one who's training them based on your experience and the way India and the technology all around the world has transformed in past 20, 30 years. What you can say now that how a PhD scholar should prepare themselves for future.
because certainly it is the number one is the instrument facilities, okay, and second is the tools which you are going to use. Means what I want to mention that softwares. There are so many softwares because the modeling has emerged a very important aspect. Whatever you generate the data, so that from that data you have to come out with some concrete output. And now the orientation of the research has shifted towards the your output should be matched with the society demand also. So
Yes.
what we are going to work out, it should be not useless and only for the publication purposes. So I always, because I have learned so many things from my past service in the Institute of Hydrology, we have worked in the field, we have worked in the applied sciences, we did the consultancy projects, research projects. So that helps me too much to motivate the students to make the crystal clear how you should do your job and what are the facilities available in different parts of the country. So if it is not available, you go and make the request to the other people, other laboratories, and generate the good data. If there are good database, then you tomorrow we will publish paper in the better impact factor journal.
Mhm.
So always I try to motivate the students, and they believe me also. If you see here, my all the students, there is no trouble. I never. I am always 100% with them. Okay, what you want to do, but when there is time gap, that time should 100% for me and research. And there should be. I always say I'm very open. Whatever you want to know, my all the keys are with my research scholars. Probably I'm alone professor. My all the keys, all the things are even computer passwords are with them. So I always ask, nothing is secret. Whatever you want to do, you do. But you should be honest.
Yes.
And I should be honest also with you. I am
Mhm.
not going to make any hidden things, and because now I have not achieved much more. Whatever I have achieved, I am satisfied with my achievement. So by that way, they get motivated.
Mhm.
So um, other students are leaving PhD, other things. In my lab, all the students are very much enthusiastic to submit the thesis, and you will surprised to know in Banaras University, my students are publishing the paper more than 5 impact factors.
Nice.
So I'm enthusiastic about the nature paper. I am asking those all the students by tomorrow we should go for the higher impact journal and plan like that way. So I'm in search of the only one motivated PhD student who will rigorously work for the research. So I think on that day I will succeed for that also.
Absolutely. We wish you all the good luck for that, because as you mentioned that it is so important to keep them motivated, and also side by side keeping the health check, like they are mentally strong, they are motivated, passionate, and not burnout. Because these days, as you mentioned, that in other labs, and it happens all around the world, that PhD scholars, after spending number of years, and it depends from 2 to 5 in different countries, they are quitting the PhD. But there are, as you mentioned, there are labs like you, group, where the students are more enthusiastic and passionate. When they joined, the motivation always kept on going up until their thesis defenses, and then they are doing wonderful research all around the world. Few labs are able to do that. There are still struggle for researchers all around the life. It's not only the PhD where the challenge is there. When you move out the PhD, it gets tough and tougher. And that's why whenever we talk to students, I always tell them that PhD is a training. It prepares you for the tougher challenges. So don't think that this is the end of the challenge. This is just the starting.
So
So,
actually,
yeah,
please.
tell me, sir.
Actually, what you mentioned that my two students recently they got PhD from here. Now they are postdoc in two institutes. One is the National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee. Another is the NCSS in the Trichinopalli.
Mhm.
So those two students are motivating to hear the students.
Mhm.
Do better, neither it you will fail. You will feel the uh, difficulties. You
Mhm.
will face the difficulties. So that is the way how the things are going on. Certainly, because the your research field in India, the because job opportunities are declining and competitions are increasing. No doubt, the infrastructure facilities has increased manifold, but competition between the PhD students has rose up.
Yes, absolutely.
In
So,
our times, the infrastructure was less. So
mhm.
whatever we are doing with the hard work and sincerity, I at my PhD time I was writing my PhD by hand, and
Mhm.
my
Yes.
supervisor was checking that, and 13 times he has revised my thesis, and 13 times I wrote the thing.
Mhm.
So that was the time. Nowadays, you can speak and all the things will get recorded. And time
You
has
can make
changed.
the transcript. Yeah, absolutely. And also I think the way we were doing research like 3 decades ago has changed significantly. Like now people actually look forward to collaborations to overcome all those limitations, either by resources or by simply instruments are not available, or the infrastructure is not very suitable. And then now when researchers from all around different areas coming together, developing the interdisciplinary research projects which are of high impact, and as you mentioned, keeping the society in the heart, that whatever we are doing, putting that every single penny or the rupee in there, we should be able to help the society with that, because that's their money what we are using. And
Exactly.
doing those translational research is also one thing which has increased significantly over the period of time. Now coming back to the conversation, that you have experienced this bureaucracy, as you mentioned, that there are challenges also. Will no matter wherever you are at, in what stage you are. The challenges of a PhD student, people talk a lot, but when it comes to the challenges of a PI, not many people talk about it. What would you like to suggest the PIs, either they have recently got their positions, how they should maintain their sanity also, not going crazy about all the pressures, hurdles they have to go through, because 10 years, not 10 years, it's a lot of problems and challenges. So based on your experience, what you can guide them?
What I feel, there should be very good conversation between the guide and the student. So at least when the student is working with you under your supervision, so it should not like that. It should be not only confined only to the topic of the PhD. You should know about your student financial, its health issues, its other problems, social problems, family problems, because he is bound by all the problems.
Yes.
So if you are not knowing all those problems, sometimes, because some people think that if you are going to know all the problems, he will misuse you.
Mhm.
But I believe, okay, if he is misusing me, one day I will stop. But I will not going to create the problem anyway, or by because of my interest, he will be in the trouble. So I'm not in that opinion. Okay, initially we should support the student fully, and if the student's response is good, because we are also monitoring
Yes.
whatever I'm doing, his response is good or not. He's cheating or
Mhm.
he's doing, he's sincere. Whenever he's getting time, he's coming with some good results and he's doing, he want to do something, he's interacting with the supervisor or not. If that student is going and doing well, even moderate, so I think that we should support. The,
Yes.
the supervisor role is to support those students who are the moderator, who are the medium class, and then what happens, the favorable conditions comes along with the student, he works very nice. I found that.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So when all the conditions are circumstances are good, because the things changes with the time, so he work out with very good results. He comes up with a very good result and very good papers, all the things. So I think in the research, whatever I feel, we should not go. Certainly, the talented student do the better job and in lesser time and very good. But if they are doing, sincerely
Uh-huh.
doing, then only there
True.
there is chances he will move somewhere else.
Mhm.
He may get the job, he may get better opportunity. So, but those students who are in the medium category, they stay, they work hard, and one day they become wonderful. Only the
Yes.
thing is that we have to support, we have to nurture them, basically. We
Yes.
have to nurture them. So,
Wonderful.
certainly, my experience is not bad about the students.
Mhm. No, I
So,
think
no,
having that human touch is so important, that consider that you are not only working with a machine, you are working with a human, as you
yes,
explained beautifully, that they have their family responsibilities, they have liabilities, they have so many other roles to play, not only to do research, which obviously is integral part at that point of time, but they have other things. And having a mentor like you who understand all of this and do a holistic improvement or mentoring, which is we need more all around the world. With this, we'll say thank you so much, Dr. Rai, for sharing your journey and your perspective, because having this mentor is so important in every researcher's life, and it only starts at PhD. It goes up until they are in research, because one way or the other, either they are the mentor or they are the mentee all throughout their life. Thank you so much for taking time out for this conversation.
thank you to you also for giving me this opportunity to make interaction and conversation with you. And I feel very nice, very happy that you are doing this type of conversation with the researchers.
Thank you.
So I think one day you will come with so many experiences.
Thank you. Thank you
Certainly,
so much, sir, for your
it is
kind words. And that is the idea behind this series, that we should celebrate researchers globally more, just more than Nobel Prize or few other medals which are known for researchers. For us, every researcher is a celebrity. That's why we came up with the name Researchers Celebrities for this series.
that's a nice approach, very nice approach.
Thank you, sir.
In
For
fact,
all the audience, yes, sir.
particularly for the younger researchers, but
Yes.
it is very nice. They will improve also with your conversation and with your videos, whatever the experiences you have collected from all over the globe. So I think that will helpful for those researchers who are the initial phase of their life, their journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. For all the audience, will say stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And if you want to write to Dr. Ray, you can write to him. If you want STEM for Society to put you in touch with our Researcher Celebrities, we are there to help you. Stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.